All right, today we are going to continue in our unit about ratios and rates, and we're going to be taking notes on rates and unit rates. So we're going to learn about both. They are similar, but slightly different. So the definition in the top right corner is going to tell us what a rate is. A rate is a comparison by division. Is that similar to a ratio? Do you remember our definition for a ratio? Look back at 2 pages ago. What is the definition of a ratio? Same place, top right corner. What's it say?
Comparison of two quantities by division.
Okay, and what is the definition of a rate? A rate is a comparison by division. So far, that's what we have. So they're very similar. Of two quantities. Oh my goodness, it's almost the same thing. That have different units. That's where our difference comes in. Now, a unit rate is when the second quantity is 1 unit. So when I say miles per hour, that's miles in 1 hour. Miles per gallon, that's how many miles can you go for 1 gallon of gas. Okay? Or how much money do you make per hour? How much money do you make in 1 hour? So anytime you see the word per, that is a good key word that you're going to be dealing with, like a unit rate of something, one of something, okay? So examples over here. The cost of milk is $2.50 per gallon. Or Sarah can run 8 minutes per mile. So I'm going to put 1 gallon and 1 mile. But we need to know that per, not P-U-R-R like a cat, okay? Per, P-E-R, means 1. I want you to make that note because you're going to see that a lot, and you probably already have seen it. Okay, so if there are 42 cows in 2 barns, then how many cows would be in 1 barn? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up kind of like a ratio table, sort of, you know, where I have my labels. I have my cows, and I'm comparing to my barn, or number of barns. So if I have 42 cows for 2 barns, to reduce it to a unit rate, then I would divide these by 2 because I want to make sure that my bottom number is a 1. So 42 divided by 2 would be 21 cows. So the unit rate is 21 cows to 1 barn. To get the unit rate, you're going to divide both the numerator and the denominator until the denominator equals 1. So it's kind of like simplifying fractions, but remember, ratios can be represented as a fraction. Rates are the same way. You can set up a rate as a fraction. You reduce the same way. Okay, look at the next example down here where it says 49 to 7. I want to reduce it so that I have a unit rate. So what do I want on the bottom? 1. What do I need to divide both numerator and denominator by to get down to 1? 7. So what is my unit rate? 7 to 1. All right, here's an example of a word problem with a really cute visual. It says, Jennifer drives 2 hours to Grandma's house. If she drives 8 hours at the same rate, how many miles will she drive? So I'm going to set up my ratio, okay? I have this information here. From home to Grandma's house is 120 miles. So I'm going to put 120 miles here. And it takes me how many hours? 2 hours. So if it says that she drives 8 hours at the same rate, we want to know how many miles will she drive. Question?
Why is there no one in the car?
Because it is in the parking lot, in the driveway. It hasn't left yet. Okay, so we are trying to drive for 8 hours. So we want to see if she drives at that same rate, If she drives to her grandma's house, it takes her 2 hours to get there, and she is able to travel 120 miles. Well, then how many miles could she travel if she actually drove 8 hours instead? Okay, so what am I going to do?
60 times 8. 120 times 8.
First, what did we just talk about up here? What is this called? A unit rate. So I could break down what I know to be true into a unit rate first. Okay, so I'm going to take this information. I know that I'm going to label it miles and hours. Okay, what do I know? I know that it takes me 120 miles I can travel 120 miles in 2 hours. Almost said that backwards. So if I want to know my unit rate, how many miles can I travel in just 1 hour?
60.
It would be 60 because I'm reducing it by 2. So I can travel 60 miles in 1 hour.
60 times.
So now I have information I can use to figure out how far she can travel in 8 hours. So if it's 1 hour, what will I do? Times 8. So then 60 times 8, 480 miles. Okay, that's it. Rates, unit rates.